Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with another Bethesda News Roundup video, where I break down the most recent Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation. Some of you may know I did not upload yesterday, and that is because I was kinda sick. I did have a gallbladder attack, I guess, or something. Maybe I put too much skooma up in there, or whatever, but either way, I am back to doing content. I do feel a little bit under the weather, so my voice may not be as, loud and boisterous as it normally is. I'm trying to, prevent triggering my migraine from coming back. But either way, I do have a few interesting things to talk about in today's video, including something that might be New Vegas 2, and although this doesn't inherently say New Vegas 2 anywhere, I know the second this information goes out to the majority of the Bethesda fanbase and the Obsidian fanbase, that New Vegas 2 is going to no doubt get brought up anyway, because that's what happens anytime anyone ever mentions Obsidian or Bethesda together in the same sentence ever. And that's gonna happen in today's video, and so yeah, I figured I would take the lead a bit and just go ahead and say it for you and talk a little bit about whether or not I think that this discovery could be related to New Vegas 2. And then I have a few other interesting things to talk about also, maybe some evidence that we could be getting a pretty huge and interesting Starfield documentary, but that's a little bit speculative also. And I guess in case you can't tell by now, the main theme of today's video is somewhat speculative themed discoveries. But either way, that's usually what we get in terms of Bethesda stuff. Let's not waste any more time and get to today's information. Whoa, there's those glasses again appearing on my face. I still gotta master that conjuration spell. Daedric Glasses is a master level conjuration spell for sure. But we're gonna start today's video by something Monster War sent me. I don't know if that means Monster War, or maybe this is a giant Monster News employee masquerading as some kind of person sending me information, but no, that's just totally made up, and I'm saying it fast so that way you don't take it seriously. But Monster War sent me this screenshot of Lucian Soulban. Wow. That is the coolest name I have ever heard in my entire life. Lucian Soulban. That sounds like the name that Lucien Lachance should have had, but no, Lucien Lachance is awesome. We're not going to change his name to Lucian Soulban, but first of all, major props and respect to Lucian Soulban, who even straight up looks like a main GTA protagonist. So awesome. This person looks pretty cool. I wish I could meet you at a future event, Lucian Soulban. But either way, the main thing that I'm sure Monster War wants me to pay attention to, judging by their orange neon Cyberpunk 2077 box here, is that Lucian Soulban is currently the lead narrative designer at Obsidian Entertainment from March 2022 right now, so he's actively doing the role. And the most important thing, or the most interesting thing, is this position revolves around an upcoming Hush Hush project, and we already have a few things announced from Obsidian. Obsidian has confirmed they will do a Outer Worlds 2, and they're also doing Avowed, which looks to compete directly against the Elder Scrolls, or at least be Obsidian's take on a first-person fantasy RPG game. But now we can add a unknown Hush Hush project to the mix, and seeing how this position was posted back in March of 2020, I think it's safe to assume that it doesn't have to do with Avowed or the Outer Worlds 2, and instead is for something totally unannounced yet. Otherwise, it would probably be in this Experience timeline here. And with that in mind, like I said at the beginning of the video, even though this doesn't say New Vegas 2, you can almost guarantee that people are going to try to connect New Vegas 2 to this anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my take on whether I think this is New Vegas 2 or not. It's so hard to say. Do I think there will be a New Vegas 2? Maybe eventually, but chances of that happening are very, very low. I think that the chances of a New Vegas 2 happening are very low, unfortunately. However, I will say this: if there was to be a New Vegas 2 ever, it would make more sense for it to be as close to possible as the Bethesda and Microsoft acquisitions actual release date, or whatever, acceptance, whatever you want to call it. Basically, right when the Bethesda and Microsoft deal went public, the closer you can get to that would make more sense for a New Vegas 2, and the reason for that should be obvious. It's because the companies are already connected now because of Microsoft. I mean, Obsidian has been part of Microsoft for a long time now, and now we have Bethesda there, and it's because of that all of this New Vegas 2 speculation and conspiracy theories, or whatever talk, I guess, attention to a possible New Vegas 2 is actually going on now. If it wasn't for this situation, I don't think New Vegas 2 would really be brought up quite as much or seem as realistic. So, do I think there will be a New Vegas 2? Kinda not, but if there would be one, it would be kind of around now anyway. So, I suppose we are in the timeline of a New Vegas 2 being possible. But, like I said at the beginning of this video, this job position, even though it is for a unannounced Obsidian project, meaning probably not Avowed or The Outer Worlds 2, it doesn't inherently say New Vegas 2. This could be a completely different thing. Who knows what this is, but I know you all are going to be talking about New Vegas 2 anyway. But let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about in today's video. Timur222 found something interesting again, and apparently Arcane and Tango have so many new upcoming projects, many of which aren't announced, that we already know are in development. We know both Tango and Arcane are working on unannounced projects separate from Ghostwire and Deathloop, but according to this discovery from Timur, they have so many unannounced projects that they actually have someone specifically working on managing all of these multiple things. And even though this is for a community manager position, you would think that that comes with how that goes anyway. But one thing we do got to keep in mind here is that Tango and Arcane do seem to have more projects at once in the works than they have ever had before. And if these projects began a pre-development stage, that would be along the same timeline that we see for this community manager here. However, like I said at the beginning of this video, even this is a little bit speculative. I still felt like it was interesting enough to share with you all in today's video, if even for a brief moment. But let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about in today's video, which is something I'm going to go through real quick. Jason Schreier said he doesn't know if there's going to be a Starfield in 2021, and I think he's just being jaded here, because some people are taking his word as gold and saying that, well, Jason Schreier is a highly connected person and he knows stuff and he would know if Starfield's coming out. But the thing is, every other insider has heard or thinks that the game is almost certainly coming out this year and will have a major showcase this summer. And the unique thing about Jason Schreier that separates him from all other insiders is, even though he does indeed have a lot of inside connections and sources, he has nothing for Bethesda. He has absolutely no connection with Bethesda whatsoever, because he's been blacklisted by Bethesda and ZeniMax so long ago and for so many different reasons, mostly for leaking some sort of Fallout 4 script that he got access to and was like sworn to not leak, I guess. I don't know the exact details there, but I do know he's been blacklisted by Bethesda, and with that in mind, I highly doubt he has any direct sources there to kind of give him any information about when Starfield would come out. Well, that itself is just a bit speculative. It's still kind of strange that he's the only insider that is saying it might not come out this year. And even though he's not saying it won't, he's just saying, I don't know about that. I think he's just trying to be like the odd man out for attention here. I don't know. Jason Schreier is definitely a credible insider, but when it comes to Bethesda, you should not take his word as actual fact. Next up, since we're on that Twitter conspiracy theory train, Danny O'Dwyer put up something that makes the majority of the Bethesda fanbase think that he is doing a Starfield documentary, and here's the tweet right here. You can see that originally on March 19th, he said, up early for one of those multi-country interviews on a super badass game, and I'm not sure if this coffee is helping to steady my nerves. First of all, awesome gift, Danny O'Dwyer. I love Futurama, one of my top 5 favorite series. But then he retweeted that a little bit later and said it went very well. They were super cool to talk to, and oh boy, I'm very excited that we got to do this one. Can't wait to tell you what it was. And a lot of people are thinking this is Starfield because Danny O'Dwyer has had a very close relationship with ZeniMax and specifically Bethesda Game Studios, and if there was anyone to do a documentary on Starfield, especially this early in its development stages, it would definitely be NoClip and Danny O'Dwyer, because they've done it before for Bethesda numerous times, especially with Fallout 76. They're already established and trusted as being able to do this kind of stuff early on before the game even gets announced, and I would think if Bethesda was to roll the dice and do another documentary in the pre-release stages, instead of like risking a potential leak with someone else, they would work with a channel, a person that they've worked with before that they know they can trust, and that would be Danny O'Dwyer and a NoClip documentary. And I do think chances are very high that we will see a Starfield NoClip documentary from Danny O'Dwyer, but this tweet still doesn't say anything about that specifically, although we will hear about it soon, I guess. So if it is for Starfield, and I guess that's even more low-key evidence that Starfield will get some sort of announcement or showcase soon. But either way, this is all still speculation, so take it with a big grain of salt like everything else in this video. And that's basically everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. Like I said, this video is mostly speculation, but I still felt like it was all very interesting, and I wanted to make sure I shared it with you in today's video. And on top of this, I have a very hype-driven video for tomorrow where I talk about why I think that this is going to be the biggest year for Bethesda in not just one way, but so many ways, more than what you may think at first. I am starting to feel a little bit better. I'm getting more into my routine again, since I took a couple days off to build a PC and move over all my assets, and then I got sick. But either way, I feel like I'll be back to like 100% or what I normally do tomorrow. I know a lot of you are super supportive and you say my content is fine now, but I still feel like I'm a little low-key under the weather and under what I consider my quality bar. But either way, like I said, that's going to finish up today's video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share the content, share the channel, get people to subscribe, because the YouTube algorithm really ignores channels underneath 100,000 subscribers. However, since I've been asking you all to share the content, the channel's been growing a lot faster. So huge thank you, it is much appreciated. And speaking of appreciation, huge shout out to these amazing people for going above and beyond to support the channel and bring you content like this. If you want to get your name added to this list and get a permanent future video shout out, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. I had a couple more channel supporters over the last couple of days, so I am updating this list today, so now is your last chance to get added to the next list before I update it a while from now. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time, when I'm actually just as hyped for the Starfield documentary from NoClips as I am for the actual game. They do great work. Major props.
It just works.